It's that time again. Yeah. Ya es la hora. You know, power hour. Ponle atención, class is in session. Tune in for an hour, maybe more, that's a blessing. Learn from the captains and the leadership. Flee from religion, cause them churches never teaching shit. Everything you learn for your benefit. Line upon line is a requisite. Never take a deficit, yeah. That mean you take a loss if you stray from the way. You get the understanding if you study every day. Apply what you learn and bless when you pray. There's one interpretation, man, it say what it say. Ya viene el tiempo, entra para el templo. Aprende del maestro con talento. La Biblia es el centro, usando a Israel como instrumento. No te pierdas en doctrina como viento. Estudia y ora y aplica. Tiempo para Dios, ven, hace una cita. Escritura dinamita, morenos y hispanos israelitas. Oye cómo explica Israel unido en Cristo para la vida. Nunca se divida. Tune in, it's the power hour. Learn your family history, don't be a coward. Yeah. Tune in, it's the power hour. I said learn your family history, don't be a coward.
Yeah, history to learn. It's the power hour. The 11th hour. Tune in to your history. You know it ain't no mystery. Power hour. The 11th hour. You gon' learn your true history. The 11th hour. Power hour.
When you look in the mirror, what do you feel? Fearlessness, austerity, masculinity, godliness. But what does your beard say about you? Get definitive results with the bold, natural sense from the manly badge of dignity beard oil and ignite the king in you, because it's important to look how you feel.
Most High Christ bless.
Shalom.
Welcome back to the Power Hour.
BB to the punch, all praises.
Right. Welcome back.
Happy Sabbath, Power Hour, and everything. My name is Officer Issachar.
Officer Zariah.
Hey, Officer Nehemiah.
And we got our debut guest,
Brother Obadiah.
He's
All
speaking.
Can't see him though.
All praises.
No, can't see
But
him?
he's here.
Nah,
He's here.
They got the camera just focused on you.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Disrespectful.
Man.
All praises. But we here. Lord's will, you know what I mean? We get some information. You know, I was thinking, school started, you know what I mean? We got, you know, people going back to school and stuff. While you were at summer school, or when you were in summer, you know, at the pool, eating, you know, whatever, you know, barbecue, ice cream,
Right.
and celebrating 4th of July, they were planning to bring a new agenda to the school year. Every year, there's something they're going to introduce into the school district and to influence and to put in the minds of your child.
Pollute,
whether you like it or not.
Right.
I don't care if you go private. I don't care if you go. There is going to be a standard in school that's going to be pushing little by little.
An agenda.
Right. You know what I mean? That agenda, yeah, that's going to be pushed. It's going to be pushed on your kids, whether you like it or not, and it's being pushed on. And that's what we're talking about today.
It's like even though it's not sometimes not put into the curriculum yet, it's still put in the minds of the people. And so when it's put in the minds of the people, majority of the people, it becomes second nature to where this is like the standard usually.
Right.
And so that's how it also has been pushed as well.
Exactly. They push that behavior. They, you know, put the agenda out with words you can say, words you can't say. You know who we talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
We need the Transformers, you know.
Right.
Optimus Prime.
So what did we put the title again?
They should be called the Decepticons.
What was the title?
Facts.
Oh, there it is.
The
There it is.
Decepticons,
Facts.
for real. Because they deceiving and all that.
What did we put the title up? LGBTQ.
Taking our boys.
Taking our boys. And
Transform.
we're focusing on the boys because, of course, we're talking about the women too, but the boys are leaders.
Right.
They're going to become men one day, and they're going to be the leader for our nation.
Right. It set the foundation to these households, right?
And when I say our nation, I ain't talking about the U.S. of A. I'm talking about the nation of God, the Israelites. That's what I'm talking about. Because you got to understand that. Guess what? We are a world separate. We're not into this world. I was watching a show. The time when I went to the hospital.
Yeah.
I don't watch public TV, whatever, but it was on, and my daughter was there, so we put on something there, and she wasn't paying attention, but me and my wife were paying attention, and I forget what the name of the show, but it's about Black and Hispanics cartoon. They're in the Bronx. I don't know what it's called, but the whole thing was there was a little girl that found a doll. She found a doll on the playground. And she's all like, well, should I keep it? What should I do? She said, let me get it back to the owner. So she's looking for the owner because I remember my little brother was missing something, and that was their pride possession or whatever. She was through the whole show. She's looking for it, and she finally found the person that owned it, and it was a boy.
Bruh.
So I was like, did you see? I was like, me and my wife looked at each other. We're like, they got to be kidding.
Bruh.
They got to be kidding.
Little things that they put in there just to try to
subtle,
subtle things, man. Like a boy will be watching that and be like, oh, it's okay to have dolls.
Yeah, it's okay to play with dolls
Right.
and stuff. And while you at the house telling them, hey, that's your sister's stuff. You got your own toys. You don't play with those things.
Right.
You don't wear those clothes. You don't do those things.
Exactly.
You are a boy and you do boy things.
All right.
Right? We got to understand that we're building these children to be adults on their own. That's the mindset that you got to have, that you are going to train them to be on their own and do what's right according to God's will.
It's to train up a child in the way he should go.
Right.
Can we get that?
Yeah, let's get that.
Proverbs 22:6, right?
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Right, so like basically what the officer was saying, train up a child in the way he should go, right? The Most High God, he didn't say leave the child to determine, let the child determine where the way that they should go, but it says the parents has to do that, right? Because we know what's best for them, especially after knowing what's in this world, and especially knowing these keeping God's commandments. We know what the Most High God has set for us and how we supposed to raise our kids. So that's what we supposed to do, train up a child in the way he should go, right? To be a man, right? And so let's get that 1 Kings 2:2, right? Because we got to show, what we about to go over. We got to show how to be a man, right? Because a lot of times, especially in this world, after all these years, we think that being a man, doing certain things, getting older and all that, that's how you be a man. But the Most High God gives you a definition on how to be a man. So give me that, 1 Kings 2:2.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 2 and verse 2. I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man. And keep the charge.
It says, be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man. So one of the qualities of being a man is being strong, right? It's not being effeminate, right? Making sure that you, whatever issues you got going on, like if you get hurt or something like that, or something is going on like tribulation, whatever it is, right? You supposed to be strong and make sure you get through that, right?
And keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments, and his judgments, and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses.
So that's how you show yourself a man. That's how you be a man. By what? Keeping God's commandments and judgments, walking into his ways, following his Bible. That's how you be a man.
Yeah, and I'm sure that reading that scripture that you was bringing out, I'm sure that Solomon had that strong father in David as that example.
Right.
David knew that he had that responsibility to teach Solomon how to be a man and what that came with, right? Can I get a scripture real quick? Me, Deuteronomy 6 and 7, real quick. Because that example that you pull on watching it on TV, right? This is what we're supposed to do in situations like that. Give me Deuteronomy 6, and let's read verse 7.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
Remember when he was going over show thyself a man, the thing that we're supposed to teach diligently is the commandments of God, right?
And shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
So when you sitting in your house, you're probably going to be watching TV. and something is gonna come up as far as like the doll and the situation. You're supposed to be able to explain that and why that's incorrect for a man to be having a little girl's doll.
Right.
So that's what we're supposed to do as far as having that responsibility to bring our kids up, and especially the men, in the laws of God, so we can set that foundation.
Right.
All praises, and we're going to show that because we are always talking about the Black, Hispanics, and Americans because those are the biblical Israelites. Where we've gone away from God's law, statutes, and commandments, and now we're trying to raise up the prophets with among us that they would teach the people because it's very important. Give me the video, the 338, that next one. Yep. We're gonna see right here how the mindset of a black man, and it starts with the black man because the scripture says Judah should be raised up first. That's the so-called African Americans. They're gonna be raised up first, but that we whether you like it or not, the Hispanics and the Americans, they look up to Judah, and they see certain things. Like it starts with the wardrobe, starts with the music, starts with all those things. But more importantly, when they push something on Judah, they know the other tribes will follow.
Right.
You know, and how to think and how to do things and stuff like that. Right. That's why they push what was it? Dwayne Wade. His kid.
Right.
You got Magic Johnson.
Right.
At that time. You got who else you got?
Hey, Dwayne
Will
Wade's
Smith.
We
kid-
can barely hear you, bro.
We can't hear you, officer.
You gotta turn up the audio.
Dwayne Wade's kid had a manny instead of a nanny. Like
Damn.
his babysitter was a homosexual Caucasian.
Wow.
See,
Nigga.
and that
Right.
bro, and that you know what? And not to say that he didn't do that work, because guess what? And that's another spiritual thing that's going on there. You know what I mean? That's why you sometimes, guess what? I'm gonna leave it this. Sometimes you gotta sacrifice certain things in your life to make it to a top.
Yo, you remember, Madam, that just popped in my head. You remember Dwayne Wade had that interview, officer. Remember he was talking about like how he used to put on his mom's clothes or whatever. See that it starts with generation after generation.
Yeah.
He was doing that. He didn't have a solid foundation teaching him, and then what did he do? It opened up a can of worms for his son.
Bishop always says this. He says that Dwayne Wade is living. Dwayne
Living
Wade
through his son.
He's living through his son.
Exactly.
He can't do, because guess what? In our generation, when I remember growing up, guess what? You were in the closet. People were in the closet. That's what they called it, in the closet. They weren't. The pride wasn't out there. They weren't having a parade for you. They weren't having your day for you. You know, they weren't having your month. They weren't doing these. They weren't celebrating these things.
Right.
It was a shameful thing, because guess what? There was a separation of that. But now, guess what they say? You know what? You got to push it. If you want to be a corporation, if you want to make big money, you got to, guess what? Fly this flag. You got to promote the Pride Month. You got to do all these things. You got to pride clothing in your stores. You got to do the flags. You got to do all these things if you want to make money. If not, we're not going to promote you. We're going to ban you. We're going to boycott you. All those things, right?
Right.
That's the root of money. The root of money, all evil, whatever.
Yep.
First Peter, I think, 6:2.
Timothy.
Can we get that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, give me that.
Second Timothy.
Okay. All right, get that for me then.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's crazy, that you said that too, because like he was saying, like Dwayne Wade is living through his son, right? And so when we think about it, right, Dwayne Wade is not actually being the father, right? Because if he was actually, if he wouldn't allow that, you will know that he's standing up, being strong, right?
Right.
So since he's proud of his son doing that, becoming supposedly a girl, he's proud of that. So that's like that he has that effeminate nature in him, like you was just saying, like Bishop was saying as well. So let's get that though too, because you had said it's because of the money being part of the corporation. Read that for me.
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil.
So the love of money is the root of all evil, right? The roots, the beginning. When you have a plant, right? The roots are what's holding that plant up, right? That it has that foundation, and then the roots pick up the water and the nutrients from out of the ground. So it's letting you know that that money that people have that love for it, that's the root of all evil, and so it leads you to certain things, that you. that you thought you were incapable of, right? So that's we gotta make sure we check ourselves, especially with that money thing, right?
Hey, facts, man. That whole thing is you don't want to lose it. You do anything to get it, right? You'll do anything not to lose it, right? So that's what that's going into, man, to being the root of all evils. Because the money itself isn't evil, is what you're going to do to keep the money, right? You don't compromise yourself for the money?
Right.
No.
Yep.
The riches of this world in today's society, they come with a high level of sin that you got to commit.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it said in Proverbs, what it talk about that you don't get too full and deny the Lord, right?
Right.
That's what that's going into, man. A lot of our people do that. They deny the Lord. A lot of these people, they know the truth and they know what they're supposed to be doing, but guess what? That money, just
they know what they're gonna lose. They seen it, and then and also they have examples of. That's why they have the taskmasters,
right?
To like what happened to Gay, happened to Kyvan Irvin,
right?
All those things. So you get banned, you get your contracts, because you gotta understand, we make more money off of these contracts outside of your sports and everything than you do in actually your job, because what you're doing on the court, they want to sell shoes, they want to sell merchandise,
right.
Then they pitch you. But guess what? Hey, I'm not jeopardizing my company because I have you. I'm gonna get rid of you.
Right. If you got money and the certain level of money, when you go up, you have a certain level of influence, right? So Dwayne Wade, which I don't disagree as far as him having that affinity, because in himself he's just living through a son, but then also him getting up that high, having that amount of money, right? He got to be politically correct.
Yep.
Right. He can't come out and say, oh, my son wants to dress up like a girl. That's wrong according to this. They'll ridicule him.
Video is you got to really look at the mindset of our people where we started from. You know what I mean? And this is a comparison of what's going on when they ask a question between us and the other nation. Okay,
right.
So go ahead and push play. There's no sound in it. So,
in the meantime, can you give me Proverbs 28 and 22? Kind of back where we was at, right? Dealing with the riches real quick. Just want this real quick scripture till IT gets that ready. Proverbs 28 and 22.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 28 and verse 22. He that hasteth to be rich hath an evil eye.
Right. So the scripture says, he that hasteth to be rich, right? So if you want to be rich, get rich quick, right? You have an evil eye.
Right. Get rich or die trying.
Oh, yeah, get rich or die trying, right? So, it's letting you know that whatever you try to do, like to get rich, most of the time, those people that has a lot of money and rich, they done evil things to get that money, right? So it's letting you know that it's all vanity, right? Like Solomon had said, right? It's all vanity, right? So that's what we need to think about too, right? You don't want to get rich quick. You just want to be comfortable, right? Make sure you have those basic things in life, right? So go ahead, play the video.
To bring race into it, but black men, why are y'all always letting us down when y'all go on these panels? Like, why? Serious question.
Can you turn it up?
I wanted to play what the black men have to say about what masculinity is versus what the cowboy hat wearing white man have to say about what masculinity is. Watch.
I'm a black man.
Pause it. Right. So this was a panel, right? So they pretty much talking about different conversations, right? Just so y'all can know kind of what's going on. But go ahead, play it.
I know, set the scene, officers. Right.
Back up a little bit, just a little bit. Back it up.
Hey, turn up a little bit. I can't hear it. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I can't hear it. Turn up a little bit.
Oi. Not me.
To bring race into it, but black men, why are y'all always letting us down when y'all go on these panels? Like, why? Serious question. I wanted to play what the black men have to say about what masculinity is versus what the cowboy hat wearing white man have to say about what masculinity is. Watch.
I'm a black man from the hood. To me, being a man is knowing when to be soft.
Point number one is a man who walks with God. Point number two is a man who stands on principle.
Stop. Wait a minute. Back it up.
I'm a black man.
Yo.
I'm a black man.
And you know what? Maybe they probably chopped this up or whatever, but
they had to.
Just the fact that.
Hopefully, man.
Just the fact that he said, you got to know when to be soft.
No. I'm a black man.
From the hood.
Being a man, it's when you know how to be soft. That smooth. Yeah. That's how he did it.
Yeah, but he said from the hood. I'm from the hood. Already, because guess what? That's what we say. I'm from this corner.
Right.
I'm from this hood. This is what I rep. Right. This is a set I claim. But the mindset of that already is a small mindset because you ain't from nowhere. That means you ain't nothing. Right? Go ahead.
And I have to say about what masculinity is. Watch.
I'm a black man from the hood. To me, being a man is knowing when to be soft.
Point number 1 is a man who walks with God. Point number 2 is a man who stands on principle. Point number 3, which is a masculine man, is someone who is willing to sacrifice for point 4, the people that he leads. A true man is a leader. And number 5, a masculine man is never a coward.
That's a lot there.
Yeah. Male and female matters. God gives you one of those identities, you take on that role. And now you're responsible for fulfilling that role.
Hey, I'm going to pause it, man. Hey, can you please get the article for me that I had sent? Just really, really quick. Just real quick.
Okay, I'll praise it.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
Hey,
This is crazy.
Do you understand that? Guess what? It was funny. I was looking at the Mac man because he's sitting there like, damn.
All right.
He studied a little bit more than me. Now it's just what you are. What the at this is they could have just got the right guy. I mean, let me get the strongest cowboy out there speaking the right things,
right?
And let me get the weakest black man in the hood. He could probably do that, but guess what? Just because we have and there's one black man thinking that way, guess what? I don't want him to think that way. I want him thinking the God's way.
Think about the question though.
You know
the question was about masculinity.
Yeah.
That was the question. The question wasn't about nothing about being soft.
No.
Masculinity and soft don't go. They don't go together.
Hell no.
Hey, I want this article, right? Because I want to show that the mindset that black man has is so detrimental to our people, right? And so it affects us all, right? To where even in our personal life, right? To where if we want to get a job or try to get up the ladder in this world, right? This nation, right? Let's look at this article. Just read the title for me in the first paragraph. Go ahead.
Gay men discriminate against feminine gay men, new study finds.
So gay men discriminate against feminine
What
gay
is going on?
men. Right?
January 31st, 2023.
Right. This year, the gay men discriminate against feminine gay men. But go ahead, read.
Masculine presentation was enough to elicit preferential treatment. Psychology study finds both gay men and heterosexual men prefer masculine over feminine gay men for a high-status role, suggesting feminine gay men may face implicit discrimination in the workplace.
So let's think about this, right? Scroll back up. Go back up, right? So gay men, which are like all hard and stuff, right? But they still have that gay nature in them, right? And then you have feminine men where they're gay and they're completely transformed supposedly to a woman, right?
So it's like Thugnificent versus Magic Johnson's son.
Right.
And so if you think about it, it's in men's nature, our nature, to prefer not prefer, but like to have a man to be a dominant role, to if a leader, right? They don't want a feminine leader, especially like in the workforce like this. So it's letting you know like that mindset that black man had that we was just watching in the video is very detrimental to where we won't be able to rise up against a lot of other nations, even ourselves, right? To where we want to get a better paying job or lead our family, things like that. It's letting you know that our people are so far gone, especially in our mindset, to where if we don't get it right, it's detrimental to us, right?
Facts.
It's detrimental to us, and that's why we needed that miracle, like it was the Jim Crow, right? That said that we need this Bible, right? This miracle. But go ahead, go back to the video though. Gay men discriminating against feminine gay men.
It's a lot to.
That's a lot there.
Yeah.
But let's not make let's not get on the side of the feminine gay men for discrimination.
And you know what's funny? Hey, you know what's crazy that you brought that up? They bring that to be on one sided, like, oh, it's okay to be. No, just throw everything out. Throw it all out.
First and foremost, the word feminine and leader don't go together.
They
just
don't.
like soft
They
and
don't.
masculine don't go together.
They don't.
Let's
Bring it
let's
out.
Let's call it straight. Go ahead, though, officer.
For the God-given roles that they have in society. And so when you take away the need to say God made you this or God made you this, now you don't have to take responsibility for not fulfilling what you were called to do.
When you do that, you also take away other things that somebody else may do.
Stop. He said one thing that he said is very important. He said God-given roles.
Right.
Meaning, guess what? This man is reading the Bible. And guess what? Because the black man didn't agree, he came up and he said something else. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me because when you think of God-given roles, that's the problem that we don't understand. That we got to go into this Bible and we got to apply what God has already given us. Right. This is something we're gonna guess what? Everybody else is applying this Bible that's not outside the nation of Israel. Guess what? They're robbing our heritage. They're robbing our commandments. So you got to understand that, and that's why this man can upset, right? Go back a little bit and then
if you notice too, the black man, right? His rebuttal, it sounds childish, like a kid, right?
Yeah,
he got cut.
Right? He still has it in him. But go ahead, play it.
Made you this or God made you this. Now you don't have to take responsibility for not fulfilling what you were called to do.
When you do that, you also take away other things that somebody else may do. If I have a woman or a partner that wants to take on certain roles and I say, hey, those are my roles that God gave me in society, now I'm suppressing that person. Like at the end of the day, we're all human beings.
What it means to be a man.
Stop this. See, they're looking at what society's going to look. Guess what? We're going to go against the grain. We're going to go with a roles that God has set for us, and that's what we're going to do. Guess what? We're going to get backlash all the time. We're going to go against the waves.
Right.
We're going to go against everything that this world is pushing, and people are going to hate us. Get that scripture that all nations should hate us. This is why everybody's going to be rolling with the agenda of America. You understand? America sets the standard for everything going on. And they're going to what? Influence every other nation, right? But why? Because we're scattered in every other nation, right? Go ahead and read that.
Matthew 10:22.
Because Christ does not say this just to say it. This is something that when we get into our role, our godly role, we're going to shine and we're going to show the commandments through us. And what are they going to do? Read.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 22. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved.
So his namesake is these commandments. His namesake, so guess what, is these laws. When we push these things, people are going to know you two taking it too literal. You're taking that Bible, you just doing exactly what it says. That's what we're supposed to do.
Right.
That's what God called us to do.
Right.
You know, and the people, guess what? They like to do. That's where that Christianity feminine thing is just what cherry pick. Let me get what I want, what I like, what feels good and what's nice. You know what I mean?
He said that we're supposed to be we will be suppressing, right, the other attributes and the other what do you call it?
Partner.
Yeah, right. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to suppress a woman being masculine and a man being feminine.
And I'm glad
that's what we're trying to do.
I'm glad he said that because he said partner. He didn't say wife.
Right.
Because in this, he might be.
It could be. He could be one of those. Right.
Decepticon.
Right. He could be a Decepticon.
He might be Decepticon. You know what I mean? I'm not out the closet, but I'm out the closet. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say partner.
Hey, and now in today's day and age, man, the closet is broke down and burnt down.
Yeah.
That term ain't. They just all out there.
They out the room. They out the room. They out the house. They out the streets.
Exactly.
Speaking of that, there you go.
Right. Here you go.
Be a adult human male.
You have a black man and a white man. The black guy told you he was black and he was from the hood. So that's his intro into all of this we're talking about. The white guy is speaking about God and principle. He's not talking about race. He's talking about God and what God requires a man to do. And I think the problem is that the host said it when he said that's a lot there. So in other words, what the white guy is saying to the average guy today is too much. It's too much for the average guy to follow God and self-sacrifice, leader, never a coward. That's a great task. If we go the black man's route, he can literally sit back and let the woman lead. If you look at black culture, the women run it. The women run politics, the culture, the church, teachers, mostly. Like everything in the black community is ran by women.
It's interesting that we can put it into racial terms.
Pause. Let's just get the Corinthians so we understand who leads the house, who's supposed to be on top. This is not taught to us in Christianity. This is not taught us in the churches. not taught in our homes. Like he was saying that the black women run the household. You know what I mean? That's why we got big mamas, right? And even I remember when growing up, my grandmother, she kind of ruled, kind of was there, and she kind of put the thing down. I didn't really notice it at the time, but being in the truth now, I look back and I'm like, wow, you know, Grandpa, he still went out, worked, and did all these things and stuff. But my grandmother was kind of like the thing, and she was, she was born here in the States, so that was already introduced into her. That strong woman to be independent and stuff like that. Yeah. Even they stayed married too, but that thing was there. But let's see what the Bible says. Go ahead.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is
Christ. Mm-hmm. Christ is our head, right? Go ahead.
And the head of the woman is the man.
What?
And the head of the woman is the man.
The woman should be following the man. There's an order in the Bible. The order God has given and put into us that we might be applying. That's why there's no equal, right?
50-50.
No 50-50. You know what I mean? There's 100% that you have to play in your role, and she has to play in her role. And her role is to what? Not to lead you. You leading her. Read.
And the head of Christ is God.
Mm-hmm. So that's it. So that's an order that God. It's got God, Christ, man, and woman, right? That's how it is, right? Go ahead and push play.
You find that the black guy behaves more like a woman. His thought process is more like a woman. He's lost his real identity. He's talking about there shouldn't be roles. He's supposed to be the one that is setting the tone. He's supposed to be the one that is setting the standard for his home, for society, for his community. And he just sounds very lost. Where the cowboy hat guy, he's very determined and he's very resolute. He's matter of fact. He's not wishy-washy, and he sounds like somebody you can depend on. And this other guy sounds like, how you doing?
It's funny because people looking at this.
This is why, and how she's explaining it, this is why a lot of our sisters go to marry the white man.
Right.
Because they see Jesus, right? They see the Jesus, they see other things, and they cannot find in the hood a strong black man following God. Not following Christianity, following God, keeping the commandments, having understanding. The man has to look at what their mother for guidance because of father's absence. We had that for many years, but these last days, men are going to stand up and keep these commandments. They're going to introduce the Bible back as it was supposed to be taught and given to each of their child, and guess what? Be a father as he should be, because because you can understand the young boy, they have an empty mind. Mm-hmm. That's why your first 5 years that you're with them, that before they go to that school, you're there with them. They're asking questions. They're doing these things and that. Once they go into school, guess what? They 8 hours plus in the school.
Facts.
They getting what? They getting it from this guy's house, that guy's house. The teacher's pushing something.
The TV, the phone, everything. All this stuff, right?
Well, you seen everything, so they got to know how to act. And guess what? Nah, my dad said that ain't cool.
Exactly.
Hey, but my mom, she said nope. I already know. Don't come with that BS. You know what I mean? You see it from a mile away because you already know. It's already been planted to you in the household.
That's why it's important for this truth to come out and these commandments to come out, and for us to teach this. Teach our identity and teach repentance and the family structure, because it is real important for the brothers to come back to being masculine men of the Lord, and sisters, they also have a role to play and have to take accountability for, hey, I got to submit, because guess what? If I come with that masculine behavior and push the man away, I'm going to produce girly boys like this. Mm-hmm. And that's going to just produce a generation of weak men.
Yep.
Right. Can you give me 1 Esdras 5 and 73? 1 Esdras 5 and go ahead. My bad.
The book of 1 Esdras, chapter 5, verse 73. And by their secret plots and popular persuasions and commotions, they hindered the finishing of the building all the time that King Cyrus lived.
So this is what the enemies do, right? They try to sway the finishing of the building, right? The finishing of what our people as a nation, right? They're trying to prevent that, right? For us coming up and following God's commandments, right? And it says, and by their secret plots and popular persuasions, like we've just been talking about the whole time, right? They're popular persuasions to where it leads people to a certain mindset to where this is right and this is wrong, right? So it's the same thing, right? So give me Romans chapter 12 verse 2 real quick. Romans chapter 12 verse 2, because as we can see that us being in this world is detrimental to us as a nation of people, right? We already see where our families are right now, to where we can't even have a man and a woman be married to each other and work it through, as especially the majority as our nation, right? We see that, and we see the issues and the repercussions of that. And so we have to make sure that we be convert, right? So give me that Romans 12 and 2.
The book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 2. And be not conformed to this world.
So as you can see, this black man has been conformed to this world by the popular persuasions, the secret plots that the enemies has given us, right? And so we have to make sure we don't be conformed to this world. We have to think for ourselves, especially think for ourselves according to this Bible, right? Not according to what the world has taught us, what the society has taught us, read.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
So if you want to be transformed, not a Decepticon, but be transformed. Be transformed into these commandments. That's how you're supposed to be transformed. Read.
That ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
And once you be transformed into these laws, that's when you'll know what's the perfect will of God, and that's when you become a man. And you see a little example of some good traits in that white dude with the cowboy hat, right? We see it. But go ahead.
Yeah, and going back to what you said, the secret plots and stuff. That's why they get you wrapped up in these sports and stuff, and they get these owners and stuff like, hey, you're gonna have to push this agenda. You're gonna push this and that. Or not, we're gonna take your contract with CBS, NBC. When you're not gonna be no longer a team anymore, or we're gonna force you to sell your team. Or you can't afford it anymore, and you're gonna have to do it. So you're gonna have to abide by this. This ain't nothing new. This has happened in Rome during the time of Rome, on the Colosseum. All these things they know. Guess what? That's why in Psalms, give me the one in Psalms. Is it 51? No, the seek out iniquity.
Yeah.
You man, this ain't nothing new under the sun, like the Bible says. This is something they've been plotting. They've been doing for a long time. It ain't nothing new that they're going to do. Go ahead.
The book of Psalms, chapter 64 and verse 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
So there is very deep. It goes farther than you think.
They think generations ahead.
Yeah,
facts.
You're exactly right, because they during our time, I'm talking about the 90s, people growing up in the 90s and the late 80s, they were showing people in dresses, and it was funny, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're laughing. Look at Martin. Look at.
You have like in living color
thing,
yeah,
with the
those
Wayans brothers.
Was that
the Wayans brothers?
The Wayans brothers with a sister.
What is it? White
chicks and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, they push that thing, and we there laughing. And guess what? Now it's a common thing to do.
That's actually, like, I forgot what it was called, but it's a social thing to where if you laugh at certain things like that, like men in dresses and things like that, like, because they always put it in comedies, right? If you think about it, if you laugh at it, eventually it's going to become in your nature, right? The norm, right? And you're going to be comfortable with it because because you're laughing at it and things like that.
Right, because
you didn't apply the first thing of hating it.
Right,
like the Most
right.
High it teaches us.
It kind of breaks down your what is
guard,
it? Your guard, lowers your guard, right?
Yep.
Hey, and to Officer Zara's point, where he said they think generations ahead, like Officer Issachar was bringing out back during the time of Rome, during the time of the Greeks, they set up those gyms. They made it comfortable nowadays for, men to walk around naked in front of each other in the gym. They taking showers in the gym. The football teams, the coaches, they made that a comfortable thing.
That's weird.
It is weird as hell.
Yeah, it's not natural.
That's hella weird.
Natural. It's not natural.
Yeah, man.
Bro, they still doing it, bro. Hey, bro.
White man. Let me pull a script. That just popped in my head. Give me Ecclesiastes 7:29 real quick. Let's get that one. I was thinking about that script earlier. Ecclesiastes 7:29.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 29. Lo, this only have I found, that God hath made man upright.
God made the Israelite man, which is you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American. He made you upright to keep the commandments. Read.
But they have sought out many inventions.
That's what it is. We seek out many inventions.
So nobody was born gay?
Nobody was born that way, sir.
Hell no.
That's an invention.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And for those who are out there thinking that, guess what? No, well, he's always been like that. No, that's why the man has to be there to correct that.
Right.
Because guess what? Proverbs 22. We're in Proverbs 22, and then it is in the next very thing. Let me get it right quick. It's the very next. Let me get it right quick. 22 and give me 15.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child.
This is the foolishness that the Bible's talking about. Guess what? It's natural to come out and do what you see or what you feel in those things there. But read.
But the rod of correction shall drive it far from him.
When you bring the introduce the Bible to him, guess what? There he's going to know what's right and what's wrong. He's going to see that, guess what? That correction is going to come. And because it's not always going to be that rod. You ain't going to beat him and just not say something. You're going to beat him and say, hey, that was wrong. You got to do this, right? And what are you going to introduce? The Bible. This is the correction right here. This is the rod of correction, the scriptures. The Bible is going to give the understanding, and it's going to give that wisdom. That's what it is. You had something?
No. Pull your script. You had something?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 12. Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee, and so bring sorrow to thine heart.
Jump up to verse 11.
Verse 11. Give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies.
That's what it's going into right there. Give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies, meaning that when he start to say, hey, I want to put on the dress, I want to put on the high heels or the lipstick, hell no, you're not putting that on. You a man.
You ain't gonna wink at it. You ain't gonna laugh at him. Hey, check this out. What he's trying to do. No, you'll correct him. He gonna get a fear's gonna come on him. He's like, what did I do wrong? And he's gonna realize, guess what? I'm doing wrong. I'm trying to do something that, guess what, is out of my nature. This is not a place for a man.
Right.
Hell no.
Can you give me Titus 3 and 3?
Yes, sir.
We got to keep that mindset of us raising up men. These boys are not going to be boys forever. You know what I mean? And God forbid that you as a father are taken out of this earth early, but they're going to remember. I remember so many people that had their fathers only for a short time, but the things that they introduced to them, it kept it in their mind. They're like, my dad wasn't there all the time, but when he was there, I remember he was strict with us. He didn't like nobody disrespecting him, and he you know what I mean, certain things that I remember that men told me, and I'm like, man, that influenced you so much that you you became that, that little bit of that he gave you, it changes, man.
It shows in your behaviors as a man, like you were saying.
Right, and so if you think about it, man, if we didn't have this Bible, right, where would we be at, right? Because I want you to read this, because, like he was saying, right, a foolishness is bound in the heart of the child, right? So that's the scripture, right? We read that, but go ahead, read this.
The book of Titus, chapter 3 and verse 3. For we ourselves also were sometimes foolish.
So we ourselves, us as a people, even us today, we were sometimes foolish. Read.
Disobedient, deceived, serving diverse lusts and pleasures.
All these things that's listed right here, it's kind of like it's effect to where, like, if you be foolish, you end up being disobedient. If you be disobedient, you end up being deceived, right? If you serve diverse lusts and pleasures, then you start living in malice and envy, right? Because you have that lust and pleasure, you're gonna be envious of what someone else has, and then you be envying. You have hate towards one another, right? So you see that in our men today. You see that like the dudes talking about, like, I'm a black man from the hood, right? You see these certain qualities in our people, and so you see where if we don't bound their get on their tail, right, beat them, and make sure they be going in the correct way, we see that's gonna happen, right? They're gonna be foolish, disobedient, deceiving, serving diverse lusts, right? So we see that in us as a people today. But that's all I wanted.
Let's go ahead and finish that video.
See the white guy and they'll go, see, he exemplifies everything toxic about manhood and masculinity. I don't know, I guess Christian Walker is supposed to be the black conservative on the panel. You make of that what you will. It just goes to show you how much blacks have bitten the forbidden fruit of Marxism. Feminism, such as it is today or such as it ever was, is just a mutation of Marxism. Friedrich Engels in his book, The Origins of the Family, about how the female sex should be ushered into the public sector in order to destroy or destabilize the monogamous family as a quote-unquote economic unit. And so when you have so many black men who buy into this entire oppression narrative, black identity, such as it is, has become synonymous with communism.
Yeah. He said a lot there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We as men, guess what? At the end of the day, we got to keep these commandments. We got to come back and know how God has already said something. It's very simple, but yet we're so far away from looking at the Bible as a black man's book, and we're looking at it more of a religion practice on Sunday.
Right.
So this is a lifestyle that the Most High has introduced into the so-called black Hispanics and Native Americans, which are the Israelites waking back up to their true nationality. So we can understand that. Give me which one you want. The next one.
I want the 50-second one real quick, if possible.
The with Sneeko?
No, this is the different one.
Oh, with
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, in Roman.
You can play it for me.
Because the capacity for violence and the capacity for aggression is one of the things that's been actively muted in our male population.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of women out there who've never had a positive relationship with any male in their life. Young women are much more likely to be seduced by psychopaths than older women. Because the psychopaths mimic competence. That's what a narcissist does too. They're confident, and women read confidence as a marker of competence, but that opens up the space for exploitation. And of course, they get exploited by people like that, and they think, well, that's what men are like.
Right.
Yeah. Then women like that, they have boys, and then they're afraid of the boys whenever they express anything looking like masculine competence, and they basically emasculate the boys, and then the boys get bitter, and then they mistreat women, and the whole bloody thing just spirals out of control.
So it's like a never-ending cycle, right? And so we understand. I know we've been harping on, a lot of times we harp on classes dealing with the woman, right? And so we already know that it's both sides, right?
Yep.
Male and female. That's only two genders. Male and female.
Facts.
And so
Bring it out.
Right. So we gotta. It's always just male and female, and so we have to make sure that the man set gets in order, and also the woman gets in order, right? Because we see the repercussions of that when man is being deceitful to the woman and not being married, and just have sex with her and pop a baby in her and all that, and not staying with her. We see what happens in the cause and effect of that, and so we have to make sure that we both get it right, the man and the woman, because we need it for our kids. Because like you were saying earlier, we have to think generation through generation, right? Like fight through those issues that y'all having, like with y'all marriage, right? Just stick with each other, work it out. Like keep these commandments, work it out. Like because a lot of people think, it's too hard or whatever. It can be hard. We know that, but guess what? You gotta work through it. So why? Because you can think through it generationally. You can't be selfish. You have to think about your kids, right?
Right.
Hey,
Let me get that in Isaiah 3.
What'd you say? We can barely hear you, bro.
Reconciliation over separation.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah 3 and 12, real quick.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths.
So when it says that and women rule over them, it's not to say that women don't have a role, but their role isn't being a leader. Because as you can see in our current status, right, in the world, right, when it's truth, right, we're coming back to the man being the leader and the man having the foundation, and we putting our kids and our wives back in subjection and in order, right? But right now, as a whole, as a nation, we have women ruling over us, so it causes us to err.
I'm thinking about it too, right? I know we have some single black woman thinking, I raised my kids and they doing all right for themselves, Okay. but they're not keeping the God's commandments. You know, they're not being men. They're not being women. Like, think about it. Like, you think you did something, but they're not really doing much sin. They're still sinning, right? You see what I'm saying?
No, I definitely understand 100% what
He
you're saying.
probably a simp. I guarantee it.
That's my point. Because this brother
Yeah,
who
yeah.
we was watching, right?
Facts.
He could be the brother making millions of dollars, but he talking about being your feelings and all that stuff, right? He won't know how to handle certain situations in his family unit.
Emotional.
Right. It ain't just all about just because you got the dollar, right?
Yeah, he worrying about women's emotions and stuff.
Exactly.
Because we ain't worried about emotion. We got to do what God's will. We got to
Exactly.
do it. So hit that one in 36 seconds. That video.
Oh, this video.
10 years ago, we didn't think that we're going to be where we're at now, but we are here. They're chanting in the park. We're here. We're queer. We're coming for your children.
Video.
What is?
I can't see. I only see myself. Yeah, I think you switched something on us.
There you go.
Okay, there you go.
Was that a real clip though? Yeah. Those people that you're talking about, like the Ethan Kleins and the Hassans, that's the America that they want. You think they're going to condemn that video? No. I'm here saying those people should be burned at the stake. If you're going to be like in a park saying, I'm queer, I'm going to go take your kids and make them queer, that means you're going to molest the kids or brainwash them to become gay. These people need to be put in jail. That's how far it's getting. Not only do you have to be accepting, but they need to turn your kids gay in order for them to get their way.
Wow. What is that one? Give me Luke 17:26. You gotta understand that this ain't nothing new under the sun, and is going to be played back again, right?
That's what Zara was bringing out about popular persuasion and commotions, right?
Yeah.
Is that the one about
As it was in the days of Noah.
No, yeah.
Yep.
You got it?
Go ahead.
The book of Luke, chapter 17, verse 26. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they drank, they married wives, and they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all.
Okay, read.
Likewise also as it was in the days of Lot.
In the days of Lot. What is the days of Lot? The Sodom and Gomorrah.
Facts.
The time of, guess what? Where homosexuality was at the highest. The LGBT community was there in Sodom and Gomorrah.
LGBTQIA+.
Just the same way, right, Reed?
They did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all.
So what's going to happen? Read 30.
Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed.
So the same way that Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, it's the same way that, guess what, the United States of America is going to be destroyed. Same way. Guess what? This agenda has to be pushed. It has to go through. It has to be as the days of Noah, as the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. It has to. This is prophecy. So guess what? We can't stop it. But guess what? We can stop the mindset of our people. Give me Revelation right quick, 18. We're coming out of a mindset of our people. They're going to push the agenda. They're going to pass laws. They're going to pass rules and regulations in the school districts and the courthouses to allow these people to do their thing, because these last days are just the same way as the time of Lot. Go ahead.
The book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
When you come out of that mindset, when you did not go with the LGBTQ plus RQWZ agenda, what you do is, guess what? There's only one choice you can do is apply God's commandments. You know what I mean? You can't be no gray about it, because they're going to be pushing you in your workplace. They're going to push it in your schools. There's churches that are flying the LGBTQ flags and stuff, not even touching Leviticus 18. Not, where you got Romans 1 and 26.
1 and 26.
They're not touching those at all, because guess what? They don't want to step on nobody's foot. Mm-hmm. They want everybody's money. They want everybody coming to church and guess what? Learning this new gospel, right?
They want to trim their ways to seek love.
Hey, do we finish that video? Do we finish it?
They said
36?
Just bring the money.
We can barely hear you, bro.
Yeah, you got to turn it up, bro.
Yeah, did we finish the 36-second video?
Yes, sir. We finished that.
Okay. Did you want to watch? Did you want the other song?
Oh, man.
Did you want to push?
Yeah. Let's just get it,
the
man.
Song. Yeah,
Let's get it so people can see the example that's been pushed forth into our society, so they can make sure they take heed.
As we celebrate Pride and the progress we've made over these past years, there's still work to be done. So to those of you out there who are still working against equal rights, we have a message for you.
You think we're sinful? You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct.
Wait.
Yo.
He said, you think we'll corrupt your kids? And what he said? I don't know what else he said, but he said, funny.
He
You're
said,
correct.
right. You think we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked.
Right. So it's letting you know, he's letting you know what's going to happen if the agenda doesn't go unchecked. He's threatening you. The whole society, but guess what? The whole society, the elites, whatever, they're gonna be fine with it. They're gonna be cool with it, right? Because it's part of the secret plots, right?
Right. Secret plots. It's a plot to destroy the Israelites, the family unit, right?
Right.
Can you get that in Psalms 94 real quick? Get that in Psalms 94. Psalms 94 and 16. So, like Officer Issachar was going over, man, we got a heavy responsibility as the Israelites to stand up against this wickedness, man.
Hey, man, did you see his face, too, when you said it, bro? Like, come on, man.
Bruh.
Funny, you're correct.
Right.
With the eyes are big and all that. Come on, man.
Smooth as butter.
Hey,
Like,
we need that Boosie. Come on, man.
Right,
Like, come on.
man. Read that, man.
Come on, man.
The book of Psalms, chapter 94, verse 16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity?
So these is evil. They pushing evil out in the earth to your kids. They literally tell you this. They're like, hey, just leave us alone so that way we can get your kids. So what the God is posing there is, who gonna rise up? Who gonna stand up against the workers of this evil wickedness that's trying to get to your kids? The Israelites is gonna stand up, and we gonna teach this Bible, and we gonna bring the family unit back.
Right.
A man is a man, a woman is a woman. The man is the leader, and the woman should submit to her husband as the leader. That's right. That's what we standing up against.
Get verse 21 and 22.
Go ahead.
Verse 21. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous.
And like Officer Nehemiah was saying, right? When we stand up and go against what's the grain, go against the society, what's being taught, guess what? Read.
And condemn the innocent blood.
They're gonna go against us. We already know that's coming. Tribulation, trials and tribulations coming. We're gonna get killed for this, right? We're gonna be hated for this, right? But guess what, Reed?
But the Lord is my defense.
Guess what? When we keep these commandments, the Most High God is going to be our defense. We don't have to worry about this. We don't have to worry about what society thinks. You think about what the Most High wants you to do, right? That's what you're supposed to think about, not what other people think. What the Most High wants you to do, Reed.
What?
And my God is the rock of my refuge.
Read.
And he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, the Lord our God shall cut them off.
And that's something that we need to look forward to. Us fighting for God's commandments, the Most High God is going to do the work for us, right? Y'all had anything else?
No, all praise to the Most High, man. All praises.
You got anything?
I think we almost out of time, right?
Yeah, we had a couple minutes. What is it right here? You couldn't find one from Oklahoma? You gotta be Arizona?
Wow.
Come on, man. You put this on blast, man.
But it just goes to show like the work that we got to put in, locally as well.
Right.
Yeah,
Now you all right.
Yeah.
You all right.
Oklahoma crossing borders now. Yeah, Oklahoma getting it all the time, bro. Oklahoma. Go ahead and read that.
Arizona is about to open an LGBT middle school with tuition paid for by our tax dollars.
And look at the age group that they attack, right? Because this is when they start blooming, start coming out, and we know how it is. And it could be something. I want my own clothes. I want you to buy my clothes no more, Mom. Stuff like that, little things. But it becomes more like, you know what? Guess what? I feel kind of kind of fruity. So I want to be. And guess what? You as a parent, be like, no, you don't. No, you ain't wearing that. You ain't wearing no tutu. You're a boy.
Right, facts. Where you think you learn like the most peer pressure? It's school.
Yeah,
it's school. That's exactly where you
influence.
It's influence. Hey, mom, he got green shoes. I want green shoes.
It's like monkey see, monkey
monkey
do.
see, monkeys do.
Yeah.
You want to see? Hey man, he has that shirt. I want to have that shirt.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it's influence.
I remind me of the movie. Is it 22? Jump 22? Jump 21 Jump Street.
21
Jump Street. I'm on both cheering it. but they go back to school and then they're picking on some guy and they're like, wait a minute, you picking on him because he's gay?
Right.
And he's like, what? He's gay? I didn't know he's gay. And at the mindset of the old 90s, he would have, been picked on, but now they were protecting him and stuff because he was gay.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that just shows you, I know he was joking around, but that's true. That's the way it is.
It's the little subtle thing that he put in there.
And I say this, when you guys are in school and y'all guys are in a workplace and stuff, y'all got to use wisdom. Y'all got to use wisdom. Y'all can't be in there Bible thumping and doing like that. Do your work. They pay you to do your work. Do your work. Come in, coming out. Don't. That friend shit in the world. That's going to destroy what you are building in these commandments. Because what happens is you start being cool with somebody. And then their mindset is different, and guess what? That's going to separate you. And guess what? You got to come out of her. That mindset of that friendship of the world is an enmity of God. Give me that one. The enmity of God. We're going to close up with that one.
James 4:4.
Yeah. So you got to understand what the Bible says about these things. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be friendly, you can't do this thing, but guess what? Keep it business. You gotta know, let your kids. You in this school, and you gotta be friendly. But guess what? You ain't got no friends. They ain't coming over your house. If they ain't wearing no fringes and ribbon and blue, they ain't coming to my house. They ain't trying to be cool with stuff. You know what I mean? You ain't got no pool party.
Right.
You ain't going to no birthday parties and stuff. Do what you gotta do at school and come back home. You here to get an education.
You ain't got no friends.
No pool parties on the new moon.
Damn. Shots fired.
Go ahead.
The book of James, chapter 4 and verse 4. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God.
If they're in sin and guess what? They're breaking God's commandments. Guess what? You should have no friendship with them. You have no friendship with them. You got to know what the difference between a friend and acquaintances. You know what I mean? Those things, you got to keep that separate from that. And that's our time. Make sure you tune on to the Power Hour Plus on Wednesday. Here with our very own Deacon Yashua.
Exclusively on IUIC Phoenix YouTube.
IUIC YouTube. All praises. And with that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
What club was that at?
That was admit that a lot of people don't even realize they.
I've called her. She hasn't responded. I've called her more than a few times.
But the Zulu Nation, I'm like, what the hell is this? I know nobody know what I'm talking about. You'll leave me on the island by myself. I don't know what the hell Bishop's talking about. That's what y'all do. Then after class, yeah, I knew what you were talking about. I just don't want to be caught out there. The hell is this? Get on my damn nerves. So read that again, 31.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example.